Welcome back to Athletic Everyday, day number 165. This one probably left us a little bit too late in the day, but I keep talking about how I don't want to leave these too late and then I end up doing them later anyway. But the fact of the matter is that I know I'm always going to get these workouts in no matter what. So I feel like I need to stop relying on that fact so much and put myself back into the routine of doing them first thing in the day, because unless I'm doing an early shift, which I am doing this week to be fair, there is no real reason why I shouldn't get them in first thing in the morning. You want to get the most important thing in your day done first. For me, these workouts are the most important thing. These are the sort of direction where I want to be taking my life, and being more athletic and inspiring others to do so is the sort of main reason why I believe I exist. I believe that's my purpose. So I can't be sort of putting these off too much that much anymore. And it's the same with editing and the recording, trying to make these videos engaging, trying to make sure that you guys enjoy them. And I'm offering value as much as I possibly can with these videos should be the sort of main thrust of what I'm doing, because ultimately it will pay dividends in the long run when the channel grows and it does become a more sort of full-time thing where I can start to invest more of my time and energy into it now, and then later on it will become a thing that sort of reciprocates that to me. That would be a really nice thing. So it needs to be a bit more of a priority in my life, and in order for me to make this a bit more of a serious thing. Anyway, that's enough of the rant about how I got this workout in too late in the day. So this was, it was supposed to be a bounding workout originally on the program, but I decided to mix in some sprints. So I started off the session with bounding as potentiation, and then I moved into some sprinting. I only did 4 sets of 20, I think it was. And I was sort of telling myself maybe I could sort of incorporate some tricking into the end of this. But I was like, after these bounds and these sprinting, my legs weren't feeling it. I just wanted to get the rest of the workout in. It's very difficult to incorporate things that you're just adding in ad hoc when you know you've got the rest of the workout to do ahead of you. And it also depends on energy levels as well. Energy levels can vary quite a lot, and so can motivation levels. So that's why it's very important to have a plan and stick to it. But I did have time to get one backflip in, so that's good. It wasn't the best backflip, but hey. Then I decided to progress these Peterson steps by elevating my my back foot a little bit higher. So I'm stepping off of a bit of a greater height. I think all in all, that's probably somewhere in the region of about 8 inches now, maybe 9 inches. That plate plus the two 10-kilo plates is probably about 9 inches, which means I did have to drop the weight. Previously, I was doing it with just a 20-kilo plate and 60 kilos total. Dropped down to 50 to incorporate those extra, 2 to 3 inches that I added on. Nordics didn't feel too good. I felt like I was bouncing off the bench a little bit too much, trying to make use of that stretch reflex when really I should be sort of pausing on the bench and trying to just pull myself up concentric only. But at least I got them in. I haven't been doing Nordics in a little while, and I feel like, especially after sprinting and bounding, which are very hamstring dominant exercises, I feel like my Nordics were pretty fatigued, and it sort of feels like I'm taking a bit of a step back with the Nordics. But to be honest with you, I'm not really sure if Nordics do actually help with vertical jump, because as I mentioned in a previous video, hamstrings are more of a horizontal pushing muscle. They sort of push you horizontally. They do play a role in hip extension when you're jumping, but I would imagine that they don't have, I don't think it's a deciding factor for whether or not someone has a high vertical jump or not. I bet you if you took 10 of the top 10 dunkers in the world, not all of them will be able to do full Nordics. I don't think it's a determinant factor. I think some of them would be able to, but there are people that jump equally as high without being able to do full Nordics as well. Don't get me wrong, I think they're a fantastic exercise, and I'm obviously still going for the full Nordic, but I'm starting to question whether or not that actually start to increase my vertical jump. But, I guess we'll have to see as I start progressing them more and more. I think at the moment, realistically, I'm only getting them in once a week. I should start to incorporate them more, but, I don't want to do that to the denigration of the other hamstring exercises, working on hip hinges, heavy hip hinges, RDLs, potentially even incorporating some pulls and some deadlifts, focusing on that hinging movement pattern, even some single leg hamstring exercises. You can't completely neglect unilateral hamstring exercises as well. For example, single-legged landmine RDLs, for instance, they can be very useful because when you work that unilateral component of the leg, when you work the leg unilaterally, then there are certain aspects of stabilization that go on, and you work different areas, you emphasize different areas of the hamstring. So I think it is important to also balance all of those. But that's how training is. You're always trying to prioritize what's most important, and there will always almost inevitably be conflict between which exercise is best for me personally, and that is an experiment you have to do continuously all throughout your training, especially if you're designing your own program. But yeah, so finish up the session with some tip raises, and then that was pretty much it. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and I will catch you in the next one.